The Discovery Captain Rex stood on the bridge of the exploration vessel Star Hunter, watching the massive alien structure drift silently through the void. The ship was unlike anything in the Galactic database, sleek, organic curves mixed with crystalline formations that seemed to pulse with their own inner light. "How long has it been drifting?" Rex asked his science officer, Dr. Maya. "Sensors indicate approximately 50,000 years, Captain. But that's impossible. No civilization has technology that could preserve a ship for that long." The alien vessel was enormous, easily 10 times the size of their own ship. Strange symbols covered its hull, symbols that seemed to shift and change when no one was looking directly at them. The ship's design was beautiful but alien, with flowing lines. That suggested it had been grown rather than built. "Any signs of life?" Rex asked. "None that we can detect." "But Captain, there's something else. The ship's trajectory. It was heading toward Earth, or rather, where Earth was 50,000 years ago." Rex felt a chill run down his spine. Earth was the homeworld of humanity, but it had been destroyed in the Great War millennia ago. Few beings in the galaxy even remembered that humans had once existed. "Bring us closer," Rex ordered. "I want to know what this ship was doing in human space." As they approached, the alien ship's symbols began to glow brighter. Ancient systems, dormant for tens of thousands of years, suddenly came to life. The ship's hull opened like a flower, revealing a docking bay that seemed to invite them inside. "Captain, this could be a trap," Maya warned. "Or it could be our only chance to learn what happened to the humans," Rex replied. "Prepare a boarding party." The interior of the alien ship was vast and empty, filled with corridors that seemed to stretch forever. The walls were covered with the same shifting symbols, and strange technology hummed quietly in the darkness. As they explored deeper, they found what appeared to be a control room. Out in the center of the room stood a device that looked like a combination of crystal and metal. As Rex approached, it activated, projecting a holographic image of a tall, elegant alien being. The creature had 4 arms, silver skin, and eyes that held deep intelligence. "Greetings," the hologram said in perfect galactic standard. "I am Archive Keeper Nix of the Void Walkers. If you are seeing this message, then our expedition has failed, and we have not returned from human space." Rex exchanged glances with his crew. The Void Walkers were a legend, an ancient race that had supposedly mastered space and time itself before vanishing without a trace. "We came to make contact with the species known as humans," the hologram continued. "Our calculations showed they were on the verge of something extraordinary. We believed they could be our successors, the ones to carry on our legacy among the stars." The image flickered, showing star charts and battle formations. "But we were wrong, so very wrong. The humans were not ready for contact. They were not ready for what we found them doing." Dr. Maya worked frantically at the alien console, her fingers dancing over controls that seemed to respond to thought as much as touch. The Archive Keeper's message had ended abruptly, leaving them with more questions than answers. "I'm accessing their databanks," she reported. "Captain, this technology is beyond anything we've seen. They've recorded everything, every planet they visited, every species they encountered, every detail of their journey." The holographic display shifted, showing images of space battles, burning worlds, and fleeing ships. Rex recognized some of the locations from galactic history, but the timeline was all wrong. These events had supposedly happened thousands of years before the Void Walkers had vanished. "Show me the human records," Rex commanded. The display changed, revealing a blue-green world orbiting a yellow star. Earth, as it had been 50,000 years ago. The planet looked peaceful from space, but as the Void Walker records played, a different story emerged. The humans were engaged in what they called the Final War. Maya read from the translated data. not with aliens, but with themselves. The entire species was locked in a conflict that spanned multiple star systems. The images showed massive space battles, weapons that could crack moons, and cities burning on a dozen worlds. But what struck Rex most was the technology. The human ships were crude compared to Void Walker vessels, but they were effective, deadly, and there were so many of them. According to this, the humans had spread to over 50 star systems, Maya continued. They were fighting each other with weapons that could destroy entire worlds. The Void Walkers came to establish contact, but they arrived in the middle of humanity's greatest war. The next set of records showed the Void Walker ship approaching Earth. The humans had responded immediately, launching massive fleets to intercept the alien vessel. But instead of trying to communicate, they had simply attacked. The humans saw the Void Walkers as another threat, Rex realized. They were so focused on their war that they couldn't see the difference between enemies and potential allies. The battle records were horrifying. The humans had fought with a desperation and fury that shocked even the advanced Void Walkers. They used tactics that no civilized species would consider, ramming their ships into enemy vessels, detonating their own weapons at close range, fighting until the very last breath. But the humans lost, Maya said quietly. The Void Walkers were too advanced. No, Rex said, studying the final records. Look at the damage reports. The humans nearly destroyed this ship. A primitive species, barely spacefaring, and they almost killed beings who had mastered the galaxy. The last entries in the archive were desperate messages from the Void Walker crew. They had defeated the human fleet, but at terrible cost. Their ship was crippled, their crew dying, and somehow they had learned something that terrified them. They discovered the human secret, Maya whispered. The reason they were so desperate, so willing to fight impossible odds. The hologram of archive keeper Nix appeared again, but this time the being looked haggard, frightened. We understand now why the humans fight as they do. We have seen their true nature, and we know why they will never surrender. They are not just fighting for territory or resources. They are fighting for something far more dangerous. The message cut off, leaving them in silence. Asterisk Rex and his team spent hours digging through the Void Walker archives, piecing together fragments of data and corrupted files. The deeper they went, the more disturbing the picture became. I found something, Maya announced, her voice tense. It's a biological scan of human prisoners the Void Walkers captured. The holographic display showed detailed anatomical charts of human beings. To Rex, they looked similar to many species in the galaxy: bipedal, bilateral symmetry, standard, carbon-based life. But Maya was highlighting specific areas that made her scales crawl. Look at their neural structure, she said. Their brain patterns are unlike anything we've cataloged. They have redundant systems, backup networks, and neural pathways that suggest ... Suggest what? Rex prompted. Adaptation. Extreme adaptation. These beings evolved to survive in conditions that would kill most species. But it's not just physical survival. It's psychological. They're hardwired to never give up, never surrender, never stop fighting. The Void Walker records supported her analysis. The humans they had captured continued to resist, even when physically restrained. They studied their captors, learned their weaknesses, and attempted escape after escape. Some had even tried to sabotage the ship from within their cells. There's more, Maya continued. The Void Walkers performed deep scans of human technology. Captain, they weren't just fighting with primitive weapons. They were adapting Void Walker technology in real time, learning from every battle, improving their tactics with each encounter. Rex felt a chill of recognition. He had heard stories of such beings in the old legend species that grew stronger through conflict. Bat learned from defeat and returned more dangerous than before. Show me the final battle, he ordered. Display shifted to show Earth's orbital defenses. The humans had built massive stations around their homeworld, armed with weapons that defied conventional physics. But what caught Rex's attention was the construction it was clearly based on. Captured Void Walker technology, but modified, improved, weaponized in ways the original builders had never intended. They reverse-engineered our technology in less than a solar cycle? Archive Keeper Nix's voice echoed from the recordings. Impossible. No species learns that quickly. No species adapts that fast. The final battle was brutal. The humans had turned Earth itself into a weapon, using the planet's gravitational field to launch projectiles at relativistic speeds. When that failed, they had tried to detonate their own star. The Void Walkers had barely escaped the system before the humans succeeded in making their sun go nova. They destroyed their own homeworld rather than surrender, Maya whispered. They killed themselves and tried to take the Void Walkers with them. But that wasn't the end. The record showed scattered human colonies throughout the galaxy, each one adapting the same desperate tactics. They fought with the fury of beings who had nothing left to lose, because they truly had nothing left to lose. The Void Walkers realized something, Rex said, reading the final analysis. The humans weren't just fighting a war. They were fighting extinction. Every battle, every loss, every defeat just made them more desperate and more dangerous. The last entry in the archive was a personal log from Archive Keeper Nix. The being's image flickered with exhaustion and fear. "We have made a terrible mistake," the hologram said. "We came to offer the humans a place among the stars, but we have instead given them the tools to conquer the galaxy. They are learning, adapting, growing stronger with each encounter. We must warn the other species. We must—" The message cut off abruptly. According to the ship's logs, that was when the Void Walker vessel had begun its journey back to their home space. A journey that had apparently taken 50,000 years, and which they had never completed. Captain Rex stood in the archive chamber, staring at the final piece of the puzzle. The Void Walker ship's navigation logs showed their intended destination, a region of space now known as the Galactic Core, where the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy had once thrived. "Maya, when did the core worlds go silent?" Rex asked. Dr. Maya checked her historical database. "Approximately 49,000 years ago. The official records say it was a natural disaster, a cascading star collapse that made the entire region uninhabitable. But that's not what really happened, is it?" Maya's expression grew troubled as she cross-referenced the dates. The timeline matches. The Void Walkers would have reached the core worlds about 1,000 years after the humans destroyed Earth. Rex activated the ship's long-range sensors, pointing them toward the core worlds. Even at this distance, the region appeared dead. No energy signatures, no artificial structures, nothing but drifting debris and cold stars. They tried to warn the other species, Rex realized. The Void Walkers made it back to their home space and told everyone what they had learned about humans. But it was too late. The ship's computer had been analyzing the Void Walker archives, and now it presented its findings. The data was incomplete, but the pattern was clear. After Earth's destruction, human survivors had scattered across the galaxy. Small groups, isolated colonies, refugees with nothing left to lose, and advanced alien technology they had learned to use. The humans didn't just adapt to Void Walker technology, Maya said, her voice barely above a whisper. They improved it, made it more efficient, more deadly, more suited to their way of thinking. The computer displayed a galactic map showing the spread of human colonies over the centuries following Earth's destruction. Each colony had been small, seemingly harmless, but they had all been connected, sharing information, coordinating their efforts. They were planning something, Rex said. All of them working together toward a single goal. Revenge, Maya replied. They wanted revenge against the species that had destroyed their homeworld. The final pieces of the puzzle came from corrupted data files deep in the Void Walker archives. Fragments of intelligence reports, desperate military communications, and panicked diplomatic messages. The advanced species of the core worlds had initially dismissed the human survivors as a minor threat. A few scattered colonies with stolen technology couldn't possibly challenge civilizations that had ruled the galaxy for millions of years. They had been wrong. The humans had done what they did best. They had adapted, learned, and grown stronger through adversity. They had studied every species they encountered, learned their weaknesses, and planned their strikes with surgical precision. They had turned the galaxy's own technology against itself. The war lasted 3,000 years, Rex read from the fragmented records. The humans fought every major civilization in the galaxy, and they won. The evidence was overwhelming. The core worlds, the ancient empires, the species that had once seemed immortal, all of them had fallen to humanity's relentless advance. The humans had used their enemies' own technologies against them, had learned from every defeat, had grown stronger with each victory. But where are they now? Maya asked. If the humans won, why is the galaxy filled with other species? Why don't we see any trace of them? Rex studied the final entries in the archive. The answer was there, hidden in the last desperate messages from the dying civilizations. They left, he said quietly. After they had their revenge, after they had defeated everyone who had wronged them, they simply left. The entire human species, all of them, departed for unknown space. The computer confirmed his analysis. The human exodus had happened approximately 45,000 years ago. They had taken their technology, their knowledge, and their terrifying capacity for adaptation, and they had vanished beyond the galactic rim. They're still out there, Maya realized. Somewhere beyond our space, beyond our sensors, beyond our knowledge. And they've had 45,000 years to grow even stronger. Rex looked at the star charts showing the current boundaries of known space. Somewhere out there, in the vast darkness between galaxies, humanity was waiting. They had learned, adapted, and evolved in ways that no other species could imagine. The silence of 50,000 years was about to end. Asterisk Captain Rex stood on the bridge of the Star Hunter, watching as his crew prepared to broadcast their discovery to the Galactic Council. The evidence was overwhelming, the implications terrifying. After 50,000 years of silence, the galaxy finally knew the truth about humanity. "Communication array ready, Captain," reported his communications officer. Veiled Doc Rex took a deep breath. What he was about to reveal would change everything. The peaceful galactic civilization that had existed for 45,000 years was built on the bones of the species that had driven humanity to the brink of extinction. And humanity had responded by becoming something far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. "Open a channel to all Council worlds," Rex ordered. The holographic display showed representatives from dozens of species, all curious about this emergency broadcast from a simple exploration vessel. Rex recognized several faces, the crystalline beings of the hive worlds, the energy-based life forms of the spiral arm, the ancient machine intelligences of the outer rim. All of them children of the galaxy that had risen after humanity's departure. "Council members," Rex began, "we have discovered something that threatens the stability of our civilization. We have found proof that the humans, the species from the historical archives, are not extinct." Murmurs of confusion rippled through the assembled representatives. Most species barely remembered humanity as anything more than a historical footnote, a primitive species that had destroyed itself in ancient wars. "The humans left our galaxy 45,000 years ago," Rex continued, "but they did not leave as refugees. They left as conquerors who had achieved their goals. They systematically destroyed every major civilization that existed at the time, learned from their technologies, and then departed for unknown space. The reaction was immediate and predictable. Some representatives dismissed the claim as impossible, others demanded proof, and a few simply refused to believe that a primitive species could have been responsible for the fall of the core worlds. Rex activated the Void Walker archives, broadcasting the evidence directly to the Council. The images were unmistakable human ships using advanced technology to destroy entire star systems. Human colonies spreading across the galaxy like a plague, human survivors learning and adapting with impossible speed. This is why the core worlds fell, Rex explained. This is why the ancient empires vanished. Humanity didn't just survive contact with advanced civilizations, they thrived on it. They learned, adapted, and grew stronger with each encounter. The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Their entire civilization was built on the ruins of the species that humanity had defeated. They were living in the galaxy that humans had conquered and then abandoned. But that was tens of thousands of years ago, protested the representative from the Hive Worlds. Even if this is true, what threat could they pose now? Rex had been dreading this question. According to the Void Walker archives, humanity's greatest strength was their ability to adapt and evolve. They didn't just learn from their enemies, they became better than their enemies. They've had 45,000 years to perfect whatever they learned from conquering the galaxy. Where are they now? Asked the machine intelligence representative, its synthesized voice carrying a note of concern. Unknown, Rex replied. They departed beyond the galactic rim, into the void between galaxies. But our long-range sensors are detecting something. The display shifted to show deep space observations from the past decade. Subtle energy signatures, gravitational anomalies, and strange phenomena at the very edge of detectable space. Individually, they meant nothing. Together, they painted a picture of vast structures moving in the darkness beyond the galaxy. They're coming back, Rex said quietly. The humans are returning to the galaxy they once conquered. The council representatives erupted in panic, denial, and confusion. Some demanded immediate military preparation. Others insisted on diplomatic contact. And a few simply refused to believe the evidence. Rex let them argue for several minutes before raising his hand for silence. There's something else. Something we found in the final archives that changes everything. The display showed the last message from the Void Walker ship, a transmission that had been too corrupted to decode until now. Archive Keeper Nix's image appeared, but this time the message was different. To whoever finds this record, the hologram said, "Know that we have learned the truth about humanity. They are not conquerors. They are not destroyers. They are gardeners. They prune the galaxy, removing the species that have grown too powerful, too stagnant, too comfortable. They leave space for new growth, new civilizations, new possibilities." The message paused, then continued with chilling clarity. "We have calculated the cycle. Every 50,000 years, humanity returns to harvest the galaxy. Our time is ending, and theirs is beginning again." Rex looked at the assembled council members, seeing his own fear reflected in their faces. The 50,000 years of silence is over. Humanity is coming home. The transmission ended, leaving the galaxy to prepare for the return of its forgotten masters.